Hey guys, how you going? My name is Dom and welcome to your fourth DOM7 tutorial. So today I want to take you through attributes inside DOM7. So we have this input field right here and we're going to be using some of the methods that DOM7 provides to set and get attributes on this input field. Okay, so let's see the HTML for this document. So back inside the editor, we can see I've got this right here. So we have the actual form and then the input field inside there. This input field has a type of text and a name of username. So we're going to be using this name attribute just to uniquely identify this input field inside the JavaScript. Okay, so let's head over to the JavaScript down here and explore the first attribute related method inside DOM7. Okay, so down here, let's just put a comment and say ATTR. Okay, so this method is part of DOM7 and it lets you set and get attribute values. Okay, so you can actually use this in three ways. So let's see the first way of using this ATTR method. Okay, so let's get a value of an attribute for this input field. So let's just go down here and make a new constant and we can call this one type val. Okay, so this will be equal to the attribute value for the attribute type. Okay, so let's just use DOM7 to select the input field. So we're going to say input with a name of username. Okay, and then we're going to say dot and then ATTR. Inside this method, we're going to pass in the type. Alright, so now we're basically saying get the value of the type attribute and store it inside the type val constant. So now, if I was to console.log and put type val inside here, I can save this and refresh my browser. And inside the developer console, we can see we get text right there. So text is the value of the type attribute for this input element. Okay, so that is how you can actually get an attribute right there. Okay, so we have that. We can now look at setting attributes inside DOM7. So this is very straightforward. Let's just go down here and say attribute once again. We can just say get as the first one, and this one we're going to be setting a value. So set right there. Okay, so now let's set a value, or let's set a attribute and value to this input field. All right, so we're going to set the attribute of placeholder. So the placeholder attribute basically will show a grayed out placeholder if there is no input on the actual input field. Okay, so down here, let's once again actually get or select the input field using DOM7. So we're going to say input and then a name of username. Okay, so once again uniquely identifying the input field, and we're going to say dot ATTR. Okay, so this now takes two arguments. The first one being the attribute key, or the attribute itself, so or attribute name. Okay, I'm going to call this one placeholder. All right, and then as this second argument, we're going to pass in the actual value. So we're going to say we're going to say placeholder, enter some text. Okay, so now if I was to save this and refresh my browser, we can see we get enter some text inside the input field, and inside the elements section here, we can go inside here and we can see that placeholder has a value of enter some text. So we're able to create a new attribute using DOM7 with that ATTR method. We can also update an attribute value. So once again, if I was to set the placeholder value, I can now change this to this. Let's just say decode. So this time I'm updating the value instead of creating a new attribute. So I can save this and refresh, and now we get decode right there. So it works both ways. Alright, so this brings me to the next section, which means we're able to set multiple values. So set multiple values, or attributes I should say. Alright, so this one, once again using the ATT method, we're able to set multiple attributes in one go. So let's just once again change the value of placeholder, but let's also just give an ID to this input field. So down here, let's say once again selecting the input field, so input with the name of username. Alright, once again calling the ATT method. Okay, so now this one you can actually pass in a object. Alright, so let's put a new object inside here just like that. Alright, inside this object you can then specify your attribute name and attribute values. So let's just say placeholder once again. Alright, let's change this now to decode DOM7 tutorials, for example, and putting a comma, we can specify a new attribute and value pair. So now I can say ID and then say input username. Alright, so now we're setting two attributes in one go using the ATT method. So now I can save this and refresh the browser, and now we can see here. Okay, no we can't. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Oh, okay, of course. Let's just go back inside here and get rid of that. Alright, let's try again. Refresh. Alright, so now we can see we get the name of the placeholder of decode DOM7 tutorials, and inside the elements section we can see the ID has been updated or created and set to input username. Alright, so that right there is the ATT method. There is one more method used to interact with attributes, and that is the remove attribute method. So down here, let's say remove ATTR. So that one right there, we can remove attributes. So let's once again just select the input fields, copy that, put it down here. We're going to say dot remove attribute. Alright, going to pass in an attribute name. So we're going to say, okay, let's remove the placeholder attribute. Alright, so now I can save this and refresh my browser, and hopefully we get no text inside there, and we don't. So we can see how the remove attribute method works. Okay, so there is a related method, and that is the value method. So what we can do is we can actually quite easily get and set the value of an input field using DOM7. So up here we can see that the input field currently has no value. If I was to start typing in some content, a value is added. So let's just use DOM7 to set and get the value. So down here I'm going to say val, that's the method name right there. Okay, probably say set for now. So val, we're going to set a value. So we're going to say once again calling or selecting the input fields. Okay, we're going to say dot val. All right, we're going to set the value to I'm recording a DOM7 tutorial. Okay, I can save this and refresh the browser as usual, and we get that right there. So you can dynamically set the value quite easily using a DOM7. Alright, we can also get the value. So for this case, I'm going to just get rid of my content and change it to this. Alright, so now I'm going to use the developer console to call the val method inside DOM7. So I'm going to first just select the input field. So we're going to say once again input with a name of username. Alright, and then we're going to say dot val. Alright, and pass no arguments. If I press enter right now, we get and change it to this. So that is the way you can actually dynamically get the value of an input field. Alright, so that right there is how you can interact with attributes and also values inside DOM 7. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.